Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padambujanmane Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane Tatpadamburuhadvandva Seva Nirmala Chetasam Sukhabodhaya Tattvasya Vivekoyam Vidhiyate. We saw yesterday this methodology called Anvaya Vyatireka. It looks simple, but when we try to apply it, we have to be careful. What is Anvaya and what is Vyatireka? So, just so that we are all on the same page, literally and figuratively, first we discussed 5 koshas and their various trappings. Literally, how does a kosha become a place of mistake? How does it cause entrapment? This much we have already discussed. We already discussed this. And then what is unique to this Panchadashi is that these koshas are seen through the lens of the 3 shariras. This is unique. We generally don't find this in other works of Vedanta, because the 5 koshas are one prakriya. What is that prakriya? What is that nyaya? Shakha Chandra nyaya, or what is the other one? Arundhati Darshana nyaya. And then this one Avasthatraya prakriya is a different prakriya. But here somehow very ingeniously the Swami Vidyaranya has combined the two, and what do we get as a result? We get the Karana Sharira. You can take your place, you can come. We get the Karana Sharira, and then we get what else? Sukshma Sharira and Sthula Sharira. In the Sthula Sharira, what is included? We saw that all of them are there. Annamaya is there. The Sthula Sharira means Sukshma Sharira is also along with the Sthula Sharira. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, all of them are there. See, this is why it is so confusing. We can't afford to sleep here. We have to listen very, very carefully. Even if you nod off a bit, after that when you come to, you are at sea. And so, this is the, so all the koshas are there. Where? In the waking state, all the koshas are there. Everything is there. Karana Sharira is also there. Why? Because you say, I don't know. I don't know myself. So everything is there. And in the sleep state, what is there in the sleep state? Linga Sharira. Linga Sharira is also not there in the sleep state. I mean, it is there, but it is not evident. It is not evident. So he uses this what is that? Evidentiary pramana to establish this Anvaya Vyatireka. So then, so when the Sukshma Sharira is there, what is there? First let's take, in Sushupti what is there? Only Anandamaya, that's all. Yeah, Karana Sharira we know, but we are corresponding it to the koshas here. Only Anandamaya is there. Of course, the physical body is there, it is lying on the bed. That's not what we are talking about. We are talking about what is highlighted. What is highlighted is Anandamaya Kosha. And then what is highlighted in Linga Sharira, when the Linga Sharira is there, Prana is of course there, Prana is highlighted. What else is there? Pranamaya Kosha, because that is there in Sukshma Sharira. Then what else is there? Manomaya. And then Vijnanamaya also, because there is dream kartritvam, all these things are there. That is, so the Linga Sharira with these three koshas is there for what? For the this dreamer, the state of the dreamer, sleeper, dreamer and waker. Waker, all koshas are very much can be highlighted, can be understood. So in this way he has correlated that, and while correlating that we also saw how he uses very ingeniously the Anvaya Vyatireka method to understand the invariable presence of the Atma. So Linga Sharira comes and goes? Yes. When the Linga Sharira is there, Sthula Sharira is not there. And don't say it is there. It is there, but it is not highlighted. It is not made evident. And so, but then Linga Sharira is there, other two Shariras not there, but what is there? Atma is there. Then we come to Karana Sharira, Linga Sharira dismissed, and then what is Sthula Sharira dismissed, what is there? Karana Sharira there, and then what else is there? Atma there. Then waking state, what else is there? Sthula Sharira there, all the three Shariras are there, and then what else is there? Atma is there. That's why he doesn't do an analysis of Sthula Sharira. Very clever he is, because then it would be confusing. All five koshas are there, and then all three Shariras in a sense are there. So therefore you can use you can't use the kosha and the avasthatraya together, but you can use the avasthatraya by itself to establish the Anvaya Vyatireka method here. How? Waker is there, what is there? Atma is there. Waker is not there, sleeper is there, but Atma is there. Sleeper dismissed, dreamer is there, and Atma is there. That means Atma is invariable. Two things it means. One is Atma is invariable. All the other things come, go, come, go, come, go. And everything that is coming and going. In Hindi we have an expression, Aya Ram, Gaya Ram. Yeah. Even there is Anvaya Vyatireka. What is Aya, coming, Gaya, going, is variable. Only Ram is constant. Aya Ram, Gaya Ram. There also little Anvaya Vyatireka you can say. So therefore the invariable is highlighted, the variable is dismissed, and then the second thing the Anvaya Vyatireka teaches us is that the invariable is Satyam, variable is what? Show some sign of life. Yeah. Variable is what? Much better. Mithya. So this we have to assimilate extremely well before we embark on further analysis. And then, so we saw in the 38th and the 39th verses all the three bodies, and then being used along with understanding the Atma, and then Atma as invariable. Then he could have stopped here itself, because he has proved his point. He has proved his point that when the Sthula Deha is dismissed and some other Deha, Sukshma Deha comes or Karana Deha comes, still Atma is the one which is the cause of the bhanam of the various Dehas. That's why he uses the word bhanam. Don't get confused. Bhanam means, because the bha belongs to what? Bha means what? Shine, light. The light belongs to what? Not the shariras. Light belongs to Atma. The light of the Atma alone brings the Karana body to light, Sthula body to light, Sukshma body to light. What brings Atma to light? Yeah, itself. That's why we say self-evident, self-shining, self-luminous. There is no one more Atma to bring the Atma to light. And so therefore the word Bhanam is used because the Atma is not only invariably present, because you can say invariably present like one, some person who likes to just hang out. There are people like that, Before all these security things became a little strict, there would be some one or two hangers on. They would just be sitting there. Winter, summer, spring, they would just be sitting there. And then just walking around, seeing what is happening, seeing who is there, who is coming, who is going. They were harmless, but just they were there. So Atma is like this bystander, a permanent visitor to the ashram. No, because the visitor to, what is the difference between the invariable visitor to the ashram who is just hanging around, can't even call the fellow a visitor anymore, a permanent fixture to the ashram which does not belong in the ashram. This is what we have to see. And then even though invariably there, in all photographs you would see this person, We are trying to choose a photograph. Let's see, maybe we can put it in the Arsha Vidya newsletter or something. Who is this? Oh, wait, he is here also. Idhar bhi, udhar bhi, every photo, he is there. But then, who he is, some other person, some person living in some other ashram or just doing, but he liked this place very much and he was just constantly there. This was many years back. And then, but then what is the difference between Atma? Atma is also there, correct? Here we are trying to take a picture of what? Linga Sharira, and who shows up? Photo bombing the whole thing. Yuhu, tada, Atma. And then in the Karana Sharira, I'm trying to snap a picture of the Karana Sharira. Who is there? Atma, everywhere. And then what is the difference between this permanent bystander and the Atma? Well, when the permanent bystander left the ashram, no, he wasn't missed and nothing came to a standstill. If the Atma were to depart the Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira, what would happen? Yeah, Ram Nam Satya Hai, it would not be alive. If the Atma were to depart the Jagat, what would happen? Pralaya. Pralaya means dissolution of the universe would happen. So two things are very evident about this Anvaya Vyatireka. One is not just the invariable presence of Atma, that is number one. Number two, not only the invariable presence, but the second thing we have to know. What is the second thing? That the Atma lends, the only presence is that of the Atma. We can't even say lend the presence and all. Actually, no words suffice here. No words suffice. So, we can't even say lending the presence, etc. All these things are there, but no words suffice because the presence of the Atma is the only presence. What about the presence of the sleeper? The presence of the sleeper is because of the presence of Atma. What is the presence of the dreamer? The presence of the dreamer is because of the presence of the Atma. Presence of the waker because of the presence of the Atma. Presence of the koshas because of the presence of the Atma. This is the second point is very, very important to understand. So this actually completes the whole avasthatraya prakriya and panchakosha viveka, and then also anvaya vyatirekabhyam, the invariability of the presence of the Atma has already been highlighted. But he doesn't stop here. He takes one more situation for analysis. And what is that? Samadhi. Samadhi is happening in the waking state, or sleep state, or dream state? Huh? In which state is the Samadhi happening? Waking state, yeah, hopefully, okay, yeah. What is the difference between Samadhi and sleep? In one there is snoring, in the other there is not. So, between samadhi and sleep, that is the only difference. And so, basically, the question then arises, and very ingenious reason. He need not do this. But in the, which verse are we on now? 39th is done, yeah. Yeah, so in Samadhi, 41st verse, 40th we'll see, it's not, I'm already concluding that anyway. In the 41st verse, he takes on Samadhi. Very ingenious, because one can argue that, this is a very important argument, Purva Paksha. One can argue, what can one say? Okay, you are talking about the invariable presence of Atma only when there is Vikalpa. Vikalpa means what? When there is a particular Chitta Vritti. Chitta Vritti means a particular kind of a thought frame. So even in Manomaya Kosha, the mind is active. So there are vrittis. And then in Vijnanamaya Kosha, Kartru Vritti is there. Anandamaya Kosha, Bhoktru Vritti is there. The Bhokta is evident. Karta is evident. And then, what about in a time, what is there? At a time when, in the waking state itself, when there is no vikalpa, means chitta vritti nirodha is there. Chitta vritti nirodha means what? Samadhi. Nirodha means the absence of vrittis. This is what is called samadhi. Now mind you, in Vedanta Shastra, this is not something that we are trying to attain. That is not the end all. That is just some little visit on the way. On the way to what? Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Nischalata, Naishchalyam. To bring the focus to the mind, to understand that, then that is the purpose of the samadhi. The samadhi is still comes under the realm of sadhana, not sadhya. If samadhi were to become sadhya, that which is to be attained, then we are in trouble. Why? Because I will sit in meditation wanting to enter samadhi, and what will I tell myself? I shouldn't have any thoughts. I shouldn't have any thoughts. No thought, no thought, no thought. And then what will happen? I will be left with one thought. What is that thought? I shouldn't have any thoughts. Yeah. So samadhi is not discouraged, but it is seen as a sadhana to understand that one is naturally nirvikalpa. If thoughtlessness alone if thoughtlessness alone, if the absence of thoughts has to happen for the presence of Atma to be detected, we are in trouble. Then Atma becomes dependent on what? Thoughtlessness. If Atma is dependent on thoughtlessness, we are in very big trouble. And that's why many times, even some of the teachers, especially if they don't have a proper sampradaya, lineage is not there, they make the mistake of saying that Atma is thoughtless. In the depths of thoughtlessness, what rises is Atma. Today we saw that which doesn't rise is Atma. Sarva pratyastamitam. Sarva vikalpa pratyastamita. That is what is Atma, where all the vikalpas, everything is, we don't have to wait for the Atma to rise. That which is naturally free of vikalpa, in and through all the vikalpa means variations, options, choices, states. In and through all the states, that which is invariably present, number one, because of which all the states are highlighted, number two, and here we can extend number three also. What is number three? That which is not opposed to any state, any kosha at any time. This is so crucial. This is where people miss. That's why they say silence is Atma. One person had come during Pujya Swamiji's time, and then Pujya Swamiji greeted him because he was a visitor, a Swami, and introduced him and then said, "Would you like to say a few words?" Yes, gave him the mic. Atma is silence. Those who know don't talk. Therefore, those who talk, they don't know. And then he proceeded to talk for 2 hours, making our lunch half an hour late. Yeah, so by the end of his talk, he was not very popular for that one reason and one reason alone. So this makes no sense. Only in silence, if I am going to greet the Atma, then what about noise? If Atma is opposed to noise, then that would mean that Atma is not everything. It is not the limitless, there is limitless anantya hanihi. There is the limitlessness is affected. We have to understand this. This is all just yukti, logic. We have to understand this very, very carefully. Otherwise, there are landmines of mistakes in addition to the ones he points out, waiting for us to tread on. Lots of mistakes we can make. Terrible, terrible mistakes. And so therefore, we have to see this extremely clearly. And what is it that we have to see? We have to see the fact that the Atma is not opposed to anything. That which is unopposed to anything is called Atma. It is not opposed to noise. Noise is Atma. We saw that in the meditation today, what should practically illustrated. Then silence is what? Silence is also unopposed to Atma. Noise, unopposed to Atma. Silence, unopposed to Atma. It's not that you have to go somewhere and be silent. But at the same time, silence helps us. It's not that it isn't helpful, because during the day, in the din of things to do, places to go, people to see, one does not take the time, because the Atma is active, as it were, because it is supporting all the vikalpas, the truth of myself as nirvikalpaka Chaitanyam is lost, as though, not really lost, is as though lost in the din of seeing the koshas, seeing all these, seeing all these projections, abhivyakti, manifestations of the Atma. And then, so therefore, the samadhi thing is brought out. Before that, samadhi experience is brought out. Before that, he concludes this. Tad vivekad vivikta syuhu koshaf pranamano dhiyah tehi tatra gunavastha भेदमात्रात् पृथक् कृताः तद्विवेकाद् विविक्ताः स्युः कोशा प्राणमनो धियः ते हि तत्र गुणावस्था भेदमात्रात् पृथक् कृताः तद् विवेकात्. What vivekat? What is this tat referring to? Linga sharira vivekat. Or we can even take, because that was what was talked about, or we can take shariratraya vivekat. So, shariratraya vivekat, or more immediately, linga sharira vivekat. And then what vivekat means? Vicharat. That didn't help. Vicharat means through the enquiry. Tad vivekat. Viviktaha syuhu. Now they have become distinct. What are they? What are distinct? Koshaha. What are koshas? Pranamaya, Manomaya and Vijnanamaya. That's why the tad refers to Linga Sharira. Because that is where these are active. So, now we have seen what does he say in the first line? He's just summing up. Now we have seen how specifically these three koshas are, as it were, associated with what? Linga Sharira. Linga Sharira. And then now they are also not a permanent fixture to Linga Sharira. They also come and go, and they are also have been differentiated separately based on two things. Tehi means these koshas, these koshaha, tehi, tatra, in this context, guna and avastha bhedat. Guna avastha matrat means measure. So, based on guna and based on avastha, they have been prithak kritaha. They have been, all of the koshas have been delineated, separated. Prithak means separated. Prithak kritaha, prithak karanam means separated, demarcated, delineated. And so, what does it mean? Because there are all these bhedas. So now, if we look at guna, three gunas are there. And then, what do we have? We have, in the manomaya, we have sattva. And then, in the also, in the pranamaya, we have rajas. And then, what else? Where is the tamas? Anandamaya, we have tamas. Like this, guna bheda is there. Certain kinds of gunas preponderate. Not that's only that is there. Others are also there, but this predominates. The certain gunas preponderate certain koshas. That's all he is saying. This is just a summing up, because he has already done a very detailed analysis that we have seen. Certain koshas certain gunas predominate certain koshas. That we have seen. Avastha. Avastha means what? Sleeper, dreamer. What else is left? Yeah, if you hadn't answered, I would have assumed something else. Okay, that you were not awake. You were a sleeper. So these three avasthas also differ. How do they differ? Because of which koshas are highlighted in which avastha. In that, they also differ, because if we are talking of pranamaya, which is rajaf pradhana, which has a pradhana of rajas, is a guna bheda is there, avastha bheda is there. Pranamaya is active in the waking state and in the dream state, but not in the sleep state, which is predominated by what? Tamas. Like that. So, this we have all done everything. This is actually a concluding verse. I can almost see Swami Vidyaranya concluding this and saying, wait a minute, let's just add one more thing. Because the next verse is basically, it's just hanging out by itself. It should be part of this, but then it's very clearly a very ingenious addition to this particular prakriya that we have been studying. Let us look at that verse. Sushuptyabhane bhanantu, sushuptyabhane bhanantu, samadhavatmanonvayah, madhavatmanonvayah, vyatirekastvatmabhane, vyatirekastvatmabhane, sushuptyanavabhasanam, sushuptyanavabhasanam. Okay. So then he has to conclude this section, and one more time with the help of taking the Nirvikalpaka Chaitanyam as one more example of, even though there are no Vikalpas, what is there? Atma is there. We have to use the same words we have been doing. So, no thoughts are there. What is there? Atma is there. Atma is the illuminer of thoughts, and Atma is the illuminer of no thought. No thought. How do I come to be aware that I have no thought? Because of the presence of Atma. Thought How do I come to know I am the author of this thought or I have this thought? Because of the presence of again Atma. And so now he says Sushupti Abhane. When the sleep state is not illuminated, why does he need to negate the sleep state? Because sleep state, there is naturally Nirvikalpaka Chaitanyam is there. No vikalpa, no thoughts. What thoughts are you having in sleep? No thoughts. Thank God. Yeah. Thank God, because by the time the end of the day, you are so sick of all the thoughts you have had for the whole day long, you need a break. Even if you don't need a break, your roommate needs a break from your thoughts. Okay? So sleep is very welcome. And so therefore what? Sleep state is also nirvikalpa, but then he is dismissing that here. Sushupti abhane. He says, let's not bring in the sleep state. Why? Because that was already discussed earlier. So when the sleep state is not illumined by the Atma, meaning what? Atma is there in the sleep state, presence of Atma is there. What is not taking place? Illumination of the sleep state is not happening. So that may, so bhanam tu abhane, sushupti abhane, atmanah, we have to say atmanah. This atmanah, where is atmanah? Hidden after the word samadhi. Look carefully. Samadhau plus atmanah. What sandhi? Ayava sandhi. Yeah. Samadhau plus atmanah. Samadhavatmanah. Okay. So the atmanah is hidden, and you take it out of the sandhi and bring it here. Sushupti abhane atmanah bhanam tu samadhau anvayaha. This is how we have to read the sentence. So Sushupti abhane. Sushupti is not being highlighted. Sushupti has gone. What has come now? Samadhi has come. Person was sleeping but then woke up and went into samadhi. So what happened now? The sleep state is gone. And how do we know the sleep state is gone? Because of the invariable presence of the Atma. That's how I know the sleep state is gone. Because how do I know I am no longer asleep? The Atma is there. The Atma which was previously illumining the sleep state is now illumining me as what? The waker. The Atma is now illumining the waker. The waker is awake to the fact that I am no longer asleep. So the waker preponderates now, and Atma is there as the witness of no more sleep. So Sushupti abhana, the absence of the Sushupti, what is there? After the absence of the Sushupti, the presence of Atma, the absence of the Sushupti state highlights the presence of the Atma where? Now the person is in which state? Samadhi. Samadhi. And what happens in the Samadhi? Nirvikalpaka Chaitanyam tavat tatra avabhasate. Tavat tatra avabhasate. Nashte purva vikalpetu yavat anyasya nodayah. Nashte purva vikalpetu. Meaning when all the vikalpas which were there before are all resolved. Line, nashte, sati saptami, nashte purva vikalpetu. When all the vikalpas that were there are destroyed, yavat anyasya na udayaha, until the next thought does not arise. Then nirvikalpaka chaitanyam tavat tatra avabhasate. Laghu vakya vritti. I think verse number 11 or 12. You can check up and tell me. Okay. So, tomorrow you can check up and tell me. So, very beautiful text also. We should study that sometime. And then So, nashte purva vikalpetu. Let us understand the samadhi in this particular way, says the author of the Laghu Vakya Vritti, also attributed to who? Adi Shankara. Nashte purva vikalpetu, when all the vikalpas are gone, and then yavat, until which time there is anyasya na udayaha, until which time the new one has not yet been born. New previous thought has been extinguished and the new thought has not yet is yet to be born. Then what is there in the gap between the first set of thoughts that were gone and the next set of thoughts that are yet to come? What is there? Nirvikalpaka Chaitanyam. Bhaswarupa Atma. Bhaswarupa Atma, the shining Atma that that doesn't have anything to light up. What does it light up? The absence of thoughts. It's like, like sometimes if you go to a museum, this is a good example. I went once to some museum in Spain, very nice museum. You can spend 3 days in it, no problem. You can get lost and spend 3 days in it, very interesting. And then one exhibit had gone for some repair work, renovation, because these are all paintings from 14th century, 15th century, all these master painters. And then once in a while they need, they need some treatment again, because they are in the light, they are in the air, all these things. So air damage, water water means dampness, mold damage, all these takes place. So once every 2-3 years, and they won't take all of them, they will take a few paintings for restoration. So they will not be there, they will be somewhere in storage, or they will be in the place where they are putting the treatment on the preventative treatment on the surface of the painting. So like this, I am going and looking, okay, Rembrandt, okay, Monet, okay this, okay that. And then there is an empty spot, but just with the light on, because the lights are all controlled, correct? All the lights, you can't just off and on one light, all the lights are switched on at once, the display lights. So the display light is just beneath the painting, strategically placed like a floodlight, so that it highlights the painting, and so the person who is a connoisseur, an appreciator of the painting, can stand and say, oh wow, how nice, wonderful. So many paintings are there like this. The girl with the pearl earring, so many things are there like this. And then I just went on seeing, suddenly, and I was not paying attention, I was just lost in the paintings, and then suddenly I am standing into the next painting, and where the next painting should be, what is there? Blank wall, but with a big floodlight. Atma is like that. And what is the Atma? Is not the blank wall. Atma is what? Light. What is the blank wall? Nirvikalpaka Chaitanyam. Yeah, this side Rembrandt, that side Monet, in between Nirvikalpaka Chaitanyam. And this is Samadhi, okay? Yeah. So we have, similarly, we have thoughts. Yeah, what's happening now? Is this a good meditation? No, it's not a good meditation. I just wish I could sit up more straight. I wish I did not go to sleep in every meditation. But at least nobody else knows I'm sleeping. So these are all the thoughts that are coming. Then suddenly something happens, and then maybe in the guided meditation the words come, Asango hi ayam Purushaha, and that does something to the psyche, where taking in the words of the Shastra puts one as though in a place of no thoughts at all. Because why? The Asangaha ayam Purushaha, Purnaham, Purnoham, Asangaham, Asangoham, they lead you back to the self if you know the meaning. So when the Atma is, so to speak, is present, and then the thoughts, so to speak, are absent. This is what is called Chaitanya, Atma Chaitanya, without what? Vikalpa. There is no Vikalpa at all. No Vikalpa is there. And so therefore this Nirvikalpaka Chaitanyam Tavat Tatra Avabhasate. When does it shine? Nirvikalpaka Chaitanya, the Chaitanya unconditioned by thoughts. Atma unconditioned by states of being, Atma unconditioned by koshas, Atma unconditioned by thoughts, shines as itself in between with the fall of one thought and before the rise of another thought. This is what is Samadhi. But this, we don't have to have an experience of Samadhi for this. It's something that naturally happens. Some days it happens on its own. You wake up on the right side of the bed for a change. All right? And then the person finds, I am not cranky this morning. Very nice. Wonderful. Even though I woke up early, I am not cranky. And then what? And then let me just go sit by the Ganga. So I am going and sitting by the Ganga. And then suddenly there is nothing to worry about. There is nothing to talk about. There is no one to talk with. And then there is no subject matter to think about, because all the vrittis, the ghora vritti is the ghora vritti and the mudha vritti, rajasic vritti, tamasic vritti are all resolved. Why? Because I find myself non-judgmental, appreciative, contented person. I find in myself. That is the true nature of me anyway. I am already naturally an appreciative, non-judgmental, contented and compassionate person, objective person. This I already am. But when am I in touch with it? Rarely am I in touch with it. Rarely what predominates? Judgmental, discontented, what else? Unappreciative, critical, uncompassionate person predominates. But there are certain times where I can just look at a child and see it smile, and then I am taken back to my nature. I can see the mother in the form of the river, and then I am taken back to myself. I can see the majestic mountains, and then I am taken back to myself. And so the Purva Vikalpas have gone, and right now I am awake, but I am in a very contented place, which even the thoughts do not disturb. In fact, the thoughts dare not disturb, so they are not come yet. So that is where the Nirvikalpaka Chaitanyam shines, and that state is like a baby Samadhi by the Ganga. So, like this, even if you do not have experience of Samadhi, what do you have? Many experiences of baby Samadhi. Like when you are becoming one with the chocolate cake, baby Samadhi. Yes. Who has time to think when you are inhaling the chocolate cake? When it is disappearing right in front of the eyes, there is no time to think. You are just one with that experience. Sometimes the Samadhi is through the subject-object fusion. The subject-object fusion causes Samadhi, because a spontaneous Samadhi can't really be called Samadhi, but I am trying to relate it to our experience here. So, the subject-object fusion, whether the object is something to eat or something to experience or even a person, the subject-object fusion causes the resolution of this Vikalpa. Subject-object is the main Vikalpa. So when that resolution is temporary. Why? Because the thoughts will arise. What will be the first thought? Sorrow. Yeah. Oh, it's over. I've told in another 3-month course, I told the story of the small child that was crying into her ice cream. Where? In our America ashram in Sailorsburg. I said, first I looked for her mother and the mother was sitting there, but still she was crying. I said, what's the matter? And in between her tears, she said, ice cream is half over. Only half is left, half is already gone. That is why I'm crying. And her mother, a very practical lady, said, don't cry because the tears are falling into the ice cream and making it melt faster. So, this is the thing. So, when that subject-object fusion, which lasts a very short time, when you come out of that, vikalpa predominates. Correct? So, now before what was there? Vikalpa, thoughts, subject-object difference is called vikalpa. Then now what is there? Nirvikalpa. Then followed by what? Vikalpa. Alright? Okay, so vikalpa, nirvikalpa, vikalpa. Is that Vyatireka or Anvaya? Vyatireka, Abba. Answer came late, but it was worth it. Okay, it is Vyatireka. Why? Because it keeps changing. That which is non-invariable, that which is variable is called Vyatireka. So, what was there before? Vikalpa. What is there now? Nirvikalpa. No sooner have I said Nirvikalpa, what is there now? Vikalpa. So, this Vikalpa, Nirvikalpa, Vikalpa is what? Vyatireka. What is there in and through all these things? Atma Chaitanya. Whether the Atma Chaitanya expresses itself through Vikalpa or expresses itself as Nirvikalpa, it is one and the same. One and the same. So that's why Atma is not opposed to anything, including what? Ignorance. Even ignorance, Atma is not opposed to. What to talk of small Vikalpa, Nirvikalpa. So this is what is being said here. Sushupti abhane. So when the Sushupti is gone, when it is no longer under the purview of Atma, when it is not being illumined by Atma, what is Sushupti? Sleep state, yes. So, Atmanah bhanantu. The Atma is continuing to shine. And then Samadhau. So, for example, in another place where there is no Vikalpa, Atma continues to shine. What is that? In the Samadhi experience, in between two thoughts. This is called Atmanah Anvayaha. The Atma is invariable. This is called the invariable nature of the Atma. So now that Anvaya is taken care of, what is Vyatireka? Vyatireka tu Atmabhane Sushupti Anavabhasanam. Same thing is repeated ulta. That's all it is. Atmabhane, when the Atma is present, then the sleep state is absent. But the absence of the sleep state is illumined by what? The presence of the Atma alone. This is what we have to see with the Anvaya Vyatireka method. So this completes this particular very ingenious methodology, where the two methodologies are put in one. Anvaya Vyatireka is applied to the combination of koshas and states all at once. Now he is going to take a different topic, and this topic is a little more involved. We can't. The next three verses are very laden with a lot of assumptions and lot of meaning, because Swami Vidyaranya assumes that we already know everything. So, and it's easy to write 2 lines and go off, and then but when we teach, we have to make sure that we are not glossing over the terminologies. There is a lot of Vedantic terminology, new terminology is going to be introduced here. So, this one is a verse that has been lifted off the Upanishad. So, the Munjad Ishikam. So let us just look at this. Before we look at this verse, let us see what it is trying to say. So there is a grass, a sacred grass called Munja. Before, when the child used to have its thread ceremony, thread was not put from the left shoulder. What was put? Munja grass was put. The grass was tied to itself and then put. And then that's why it's called Munji. The thread ceremony is called Munji, Maunji Karanam. Munji Karanam. Munji means because when the child has been invested with the sacred thread, which is the rite of passage to study the Veda. That is the first, rite of passage for the study. The child is initiated into the Vedic study. So it is called Munji. Before, the thread was not put. Munja grass was woven together and put. So this Munja is a sacred grass which is used for many rituals. So for it to make, there is another grass, Darbha, Munja, like this many sacred grasses are there. So this Munja grass, before you offer it to the Homa or to the Lord, it has to be peeled. That's why we say a blade of grass. The blade is very sharp. That's why it's called blade. Looks like a blade also, and the blade outside is extremely sharp. That blade is called Ishika. Ishika and then Munja. Munja is the grass, tender shoot of grass, and to protect the grass, Bhagavan has given a very rough blade, a covering called Ishika. So then the Kathopanishad, and even I think it repeats in the Mundakopanishad, Munjadishikam iva drishya vargat pratyancham atmanam anantam avyayam. Like this, there is a verse in the Upanishad. And then that same verse he is going to repeat here. And then let us look at the verse now that we have understood what is going to come. Yatha munjadishi kaivatma. The thing is not correct. What is that? Where we break is not okay here. Evam, Eva Atma. Evam Atma. No, even then. Evam Atma. No, Evam Atma Yuktya Samudritaha. Like this we have to say. Okay. Atma, we have to break it before Atma. Yatha munjadishi kaivam. Atma yuktya samudritaha. Sharirtritaya dhiraihi. Param brahmaiva jayate. Yatha munjadishi kaivam. Atma yuktya samudritaha. Sharirtritaya dhiraihi. Param brahmaiva jayate. So, yatha, in which manner? Munjat, from the munja grass. Ishika evam. Evam. Yatha, in which manner the ishika, the blade, the covering is separated from the munja grass. Because this example is given because of the care that is needed. So the care is twofold. One is, if you do it trying to protect the tender shoot of grass, then the outer covering, which is very rough and cuts, you can cut your finger. Or if you are very worried about your finger and you try to peel it quickly, the munja grass itself splits into two. That small shoot splits into two, and it is no longer viable for puja. It is no longer worthy to put for the puja. So very carefully we have to do this. We can't just do it unmindfully. So yatha, with the great care that we take. What kind of care? Just like when this grass is separated from the covering, so Atma, similarly the Atma. What is the Atma? The covering or the munja grass? Munja grass, okay? Because it is precious, it is pratyak, innermost. Just like the coverings, what are the coverings? The koshas here. The koshas are the various covering, and with great care we have samudhritaha, lifted up and highlighted the Atma. How? Yuktya. Yukti means what? Logic. Logically, cognitively, to the deployment of logic. Anvaya Vyatireka is pure logic. When this is there, that is not there. When that is there, then when that is not there, this is still there. That means this is the cause of that. This is invariable, that is variable. So this is pure logic. And so through this logic, what kind of logic? Shruti Anukula Yuktya. Shruti Anukula Yukti. Shruti Anukula Yuktya Atma Samudhritaha Samyak Udhritaha has been lifted up from what? From being entangled, from the entanglement with the koshas and with the avasthatraya. So the Atma, where is this Atma? Is it Anandamaya? No, yes, but no. Then there is Manomaya, no, Pranamaya. Oh, Pranamaya is Atma, yes, but no. Go further. Then what? Manomaya. Manomaya is Atma, I got it. Yes, I am thinker. Thinker is you, but you are more than the thinker. Go forward. And then what? Vijnanamaya. Yes, I knew all the time. I am the doer. I am doer. Well, if you are doer, and if you just look forward, what happens? You are done in by other people's and your own doings. You have to go further. Anandamaya. This also is what? Kosha. This also is variable. All the koshas are variable, and that which highlights the koshas is what? Atma. And in discussing the Anandamaya kosha, in discussing all these koshas very ingeniously, the bird imagery is used. Bird. One bird will be there, and then for the Anandamaya, Tasya Priyameva Shiraha Modo Dakshinah Pakshah Pramoda Uttarah Pakshah Ananda Atma. Most important, Brahma Puchham Pratishtha. This is the imagery of the bird, so you can understand these abstract concepts through something that you can hold on to. The student can hold on to this. So think of this Anandamaya bird. Even Pranamaya is a bird, is shown in the form of a bird. But right now we are discussing Anandamaya. So what is the Anandamaya bird looking like? So bird has some limited body parts. What does it have? It has head, it has body, it has left wing, it has right wing, and then a tail. This is what is talked about. So the head is a condition of the mind. What kind of condition? Variable condition of the mind called Priya. We have already discussed this. And then the two wings are what? Moda and Pramoda, increasing happiness. And then the whole bird is Ananda bird. And then what else? The tail, which is the foundation for the bird, because if you cut the tail off, it will not be able, neither be able to fly nor be able to stand properly. The tail is the foundation for the bird's stability, and similarly, what is the tail of the Anandamaya bird? Brahman. Brahman is the source of this Ananda. And if we forget this, we are in Maya. Yeah. We are in the entrapment, we are in the kosha. So here, through logically taking us from one kosha to another, the Shruti deploying a yukti. Yukti means logic, which is in keeping with the Shruti, has helped us to delineate and lift up the poor Atma that had entangled itself, so to speak. Okay, yeah, lift up and all. We have to take these with with another phrase, as though. So lift up the Atma from its entanglement. Not lift up the Atma, lift up my awareness, my understanding from the entanglement. I thought the Atma was entangled in all the koshas. Now, through this exercise, the Atma has been lifted up from these koshas for me to appreciate that all the koshas cannot be without the Atma, but the Atma can be without any kosha. This much has been understood. Not only that, Sharira Tritayat. Furthermore, not only from the koshas, yuktya samudhritaha atma, but also Tritaya Shariratrayat api. From the threefold body. What is the threefold body? Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirani. So, Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirebhyaha. From the Sthula Sharira, gross body, causal body, in between Linga Sharira, what is that? Subtle body. From all of them, the Atma has as though been extricated. How has it been extricated from the koshas and the threefold body? It has been extricated to reveal that while it is the invariable presence in every condition, in every mistake, in every part of the body, mind, sense complex, it is not any one of them. That is how it has been extricated. The Atma's presence, immanent, not imminent, immanent presence in all the koshas and the Shariratraya cannot be denied. In fact, it is there, but the Atma itself transcends the koshas, transcends the three bodies, transcends thoughts, transcends thoughtlessness. That is what is called the Atma from the transcendental standpoint. Both are important. Immanence means without its presence is the only presence, and everything that we call as existent, whether it is the not three koshas, how many there are? 5. Whether it's the 5 koshas or the 3 bodies, all of them cannot exist without Atma. The existence of the Atma is the only existence over which these koshas just hang around. They hang on the Atma, and then what? The Atma has not become the koshas. The Atma has not become the 3 bodies. The Atma is what? Invariable presence in all the koshas and the bodies. But what is Atma? Free of all the koshas and the bodies. This is just like the 3rd and 4th verses of the 9th chapter. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina. By me has been pervaded this entire universe of names and forms. And who am I? This Jagat, the pervader of this Jagat, who am I? Avyakta Murtina, by the one that is not evident, not, objectifiable. Matsthani sarva bhutani. In fact, I am the existence of all the beings, starting with the 5 elements. They are all in me. And then immediately that is completely negated. Matsthani sarva bhutani nacha teshu aham avasthitaha. They are all in me, but I am not in any one of them. If you thought that much is the knowledge, wait till the next line. He appears to contradict himself completely. Nacha matsthani bhutani. Well, what do you mean? Everything is in me. No, nothing is in me. Pashyame yoga maishwaram. Look at this yoga. The yoga here means magic. Look at my overlordship. The Lord Krishna says, look at my overlordship, Arjuna. Pashya. Look at this magic. Nothing can be without me, but I am not stressed because nothing can be without me. And then I am without all of them. Nothing is in me, I am not in any one of them. There is no adhara adheya relationship, there is no holder and location and then locator located relationship, because these are all problems. If all the koshas and all the three bodies are located in the Atma, then both are equally real. Then we are in problem. We may as well close up shop. What else to do? Because Atma has become compromised. So each time you go to sleep, Atma also goes to sleep. Each time you cry, Atma cries. Manomaya. So like this, therefore the Atma is a blessing presence, bringing everything to light, the ultimate revealer, which is neither located in the Jagat, nor is the Jagat located in the Atma. And if we take the example, a more mundane example of our pot and clay. So from the standpoint of pot, clay is variable or invariable? Invariable. From the standpoint, when we talk of the pot, then pot is all clay. Top of the pot is clay, middle of the pot is clay, bottom of the pot is clay, weight of the pot is the weight of clay, color of the pot is color of the clay, the fragrance of the pot is the smell of clay. In fact, the whole pot is nothing but clay. The clay can say, Matsthani Sarva Potani. We can say that. But then, now we change the standpoint. From the standpoint of the clay, forget the pot now, bye pot. From the standpoint of the clay, is pot intrinsic to the definition of clay? No. It is an incidental expression of clay. The pot is not intrinsic to clay, but clay is intrinsic to pot. Similarly, from the standpoint of the Jagat, Atma is intrinsic to the presence of the Jagat. From the standpoint of Atma, the Jagat is an incidental expression of the Atma. Why do you say incidental? Go back to the pot clay example. So clay is not always in the form of pot. It can be in the form of bigger pot, a lid of the pot, a Krishna figurine, and so many, or a cup to drink your coffee from. All of that can be made of clay, the whole clay world. So therefore, it cannot be intrinsic to the pot. The pot therefore is an incidental expression of the clay, and the Jagat therefore is an incidental expression of Atma Chaitanya. More we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.